might hurt some feelings, but whatever. I was just scrolling through my feed and I saw a couple of posts about how white people have no culture. And I'm just over this white guilt, white shame type stuff. I'm not advocating for white supremacy. I'm just advocating the end of white silence and the end of white guilt and the end of white shame, because our culture participated in nothing that your culture hadn't participated in previously. We didn't start slavery, but we damn sure ended it. And the only place that slavery still exists are in people of color societies in Africa and the Middle East. The Vikings figured out how to circumnavigate the globe before the Islamic world ever figured out how to get their feet wet. It wasn't us that was going into Africa and pulling the slaves out. It was other Africans grabbing them and enslaving them. We invented democracy. We invented the constitutional republic. The bubonic plague wiped out half of Europe. And what did we do? We got together and discovered Western medicine and inoculations and vaccines. I'm not saying that we're better than you, but we're damn sure not worse. There are 4 major ethnic groups in this planet. There are black people, white people, Asian people, and Hispanic people. And we are the smallest. And we are the only group that you're demanding shut up. And because we're not doing it anymore, you're just going to scream racist louder and louder and louder. And we are done caring. We are not ashamed of who we are. We are not better than you, but we're damn sure no worse. And if we're so freaking terrible, then why? Why does the entire Eastern world flock to countries that we created? Answer me that.
I don't think that he's wrong. I don't think that he's wrong in feeling a level of fatigue. And let's be honest, and I know that there's going to be people in the chat, and that's fine, because me having this conversation generates and hopefully inspires debate and critical thinking. But he's right in that the majority of white people in this country, unless you're a white apologist, is considered the enemy. There is nobody in America that is more villainized than white people, white men specifically. Heterosexual white men is the poster child for the villain in the United States of America. Now, I can't speak for any other country.
Work for me.
Yes, ma'am. How much you gonna pay me, I hope?
Well, let's see now. I'll pay you all your worth.
No, ma'am. I gotta have some money.
You know...
Not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And boy, do I have a doozy here today. Now, it's videos like this, you know what I'm saying, this clip farming that Anton Daniels does is the reason why he was in the hot seat in the first place. As here, he's doing a response to some white man that's going on a rant. And Anton Daniels just agreed with him. Now, what this white man said, he said a lot of inaccuracies, a lot of fallacies. But as they're saying that the white man is right, even if he's wrong. And the fact that Anton Daniels did not push back on anything he said. If Anton Daniels said, okay, I agree with this, but let me push back on that. The fact that Anton Daniels was like, he's right. He's right. You know, this is why Corey Holcomb said Anton Daniels, you know what I'm saying, kissing the white man's ass. I'm like, Anton Daniels had his tongue up this dude's ass so far, he knows what he ate last Thursday. That's a bootlicker. Now, as far as that white guy in his ramblings, I can literally make a 3-hour video breaking the things that he said down, breaking down how they're not true or they're half truths. You know, like he goes on about the Vikings. You know, the Vikings, they before the Islamic, they were sailing around the world before the Islamic got their feet wet. Well, they wasn't the first to sail. The Vikings got beaten by the Egyptians and also the Polynesians of Hawaii, when they're already documenting of selling the grove before any European did. Some people say that the first sailors, the first people who had maritime knowledge, wasn't even Homo sapiens. There was some other kind of like Homo hominids or anything like that. I'm like, according to this white dude, white people have done everything first under the sun. And I notice how they say that when it comes to science, pioneer, and innovation and exploration, the white man, he claims that he has the gold medal in it. But when it comes to degradations, when it comes to slavery, looting, pillaging, plundering, genocide, the white man that claimed, oh no, we wasn't, Africans, they were doing that beforehand and so forth. No. The Africans, they had slavery going on, so from before we did or whatever. I noticed that. Anything that's good, whites claim to be like, oh, we were the first to do it. Anything that's bad, everybody else was doing it. And then he said white people freed slavery. Ended slavery. We didn't start slavery, we ended. Ended it where? According to him, he just said that slavery was still going on in Africa. Even though we got all kind of people visiting Africa like I Show Speed, they're not coming across it. And then in Europe, there's a thing called white slavery. There's two types of slavery. There's that institutional slavery where the government recognizes it, where it's obvious. And then there's that underground slavery, where they make Liam Neeson movies about. People getting kidnapped, human trafficking, and so forth. And that's something you really can't stop. And the thing is, with whites, they claim that and then going on into the Vikings, said, oh, the Vikings did this. The Vikings was the biggest looters and plunderers and pillagers. And Vikings, that wasn't white culture, that was their culture. The majority of white people, Europeans, did not like the Vikings. The Vikings never had horns on their helmets. There used to be artists and painters or whatever. They used to paint horns on their helmets because that's how they felt about the Vikings. Yeah, But invaders make the history books. Passive societies don't. But as I said, I don't want to go on too much into what this guy said because it was, I understand that there's white dudes, I don't know why, who never read a book, who just, they believe Fred Flintstone was the first person to walk on Earth. But let's go back into Anton. I'm like, what does Anton, when Anton talks to his daughter, any of these bootlickers talk to their children, what do they say about racism? Would they agree? Would Antoine say to his daughter, yeah, that white man is right? White people was pretty much were the first ones to do things under the sun, that without them, we would be still living in darkness in Africa, going ooga booga, wearing lion cloths, living in mud huts. That's the thing. So, and then about their children, what if their children face racism? Anton's daughters face racism. What he said, because Anton said racism doesn't affect me. He looks at it as a non-factor. Anton says black people are even more racist. So if his daughter, was being bullied racially or come across something racial or derogatory or offensive to the so-called black people, how does Anton handle it? Does he protect his daughter, or he tells his daughter, hey, that's just a nothing burger, don't worry about that, black people are more racist? All of them, even the Hodge twins, all these other bootlickers with their black children or their mixed children. Because children seem to be more like, especially non-white children seem to be like fall more on the liberal side. And especially what the climate is now. If somebody told their kids in the 90s racism is just hobflub being perpetrated by race hustlers like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson or whatever, then they may have they may have I don't want to say they have a point, but there might be, because we wasn't in the 90s, we wasn't exposed to this much racism, especially in the media. You see what I'm saying? Now it's obvious that, people saying the N-word, but these people like these bootlickers, they want that bag so bad, they have to ignore it, even though they have children. And of course, the golden rule is that you can't criticize the heterosexual white man for nothing. Doesn't matter if he's wrong. Doesn't matter if he looked like he hasn't taken a bath in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? No matter how decrepit he's looking, how wrong he is, that if he's like, yeah, if he's a white guy who just looks like he may vote on the right, yeah, you can't criticize him. And I'm like, yeah, it's almost insane. That's what I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. Never stop learning.